folks. Rick Brown here, Bayou, Crowville, Louisiana. Well, as you can tell, I'm not in Crowville, Louisiana. I'm sitting on the bank of City Cove Creek. I'm on the 5th day of a 21-day camping trip in the Blue Ridge Mountains of eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina. Right now we're camping in Indian Boundary Campground in the Cherokee National Forest. We're just east of Tellico Plains, Tennessee, and we're having a great time. And the reason I'm making this video is I got tagged in the Meet the Bushcrafters video by Bushcraft Cadet. And I wanted to respond to that. I don't consider myself a bushcrafter per se, as much as just a plain old country boy from rural Louisiana that more or less grew up doing that kind of stuff people calls bushcrafting. I grew up in the late 50s and the early 60s, and our entertainment was camping, hunting and fishing, riding bicycles, getting together with friends. We didn't really, we didn't have a lot of entertainment. It was a half a mile to my nearest neighbor. So by the time we was 10 years old, we were all camping and fishing on our own. And every kid then carried a Prince Albert can in his back pocket and had a few matches and some lighter pine and sinkers and hooks and fishing line and such little small stuff as that. We could always cut a cane pole, switch cane pole down on the riverbank. And on the bicycle, I kept one of Mama's old lard buckets. And I don't know if anybody is old enough to remember lard, but lard used to come in buckets about that tall, about that big around, and had a lid and a bale handle. And in it, I kept flour, meal, salt, pepper, usually some water, and a block of lard wrapped up in wax paper. I could pretty well survive off of that. So I grew up in that type of environment. So I grew up doing the kind of stuff that people call bushcraft, riding their bicycles down to the river bank, building a fire, sleeping under an old piece of visqueen plastic or an old tarp, or we had an army pup tent one time. You had your sleeping bag. I did that all my life, and then I started camping with my brother-in-law when I started deer hunting when I got to be a teenager, and it was a 3-hour Jeep ride into the camp, and all the camp was a school bus full of bunk beds and an old tin shack with a 55-gallon oil drum made into a wood heater and a dirt floor. No electricity, no running water, had kerosene lamps, Coleman stove, Coleman lantern, wood stoves up there. We built us another camp on a different hunting club in the Tensas Swamp, and didn't have running water, didn't have electricity, so I learned to camp that way, you know, to get by. And then after I got out of high school, I went in the Navy and they sent me to Jungle Survival School, and I spent 9 months in the Mekong River on a riverboat support facility, repairing the riverboats for the South Vietnamese Navy. And I was also at the evacuation of Saigon, and I went through Jungle Survival School in Okinawa and in the Philippines. Then when I got out, I was a seismographer, and that put us out traveling through the backwoods all over the country. We might be out in the middle of the woods working, and you had to have your little survival kit and carry some food and water with you in case you got left. Then after that, I went to working in the marsh in South Louisiana, and it was the same thing. The Chaffalaya River Basin, you carried a 5-gallon bucket with you all the time, with a change of clothes, emergency gear, some survival gear, and some food and water in it, because you didn't ever know when you might get back in them swamps, break down, couldn't nobody get to you all night, and you might have to spend the night. So I pretty well have grown up all my life doing what people call bushcraft. So, and I love it, and that's today. I'm a camper, I'm a hunter, I'm an outdoorsman. I don't fish as much as I used to, but I love to camp, love to hunt, and I make knives, and I'm a photographer, and so I'm out in the outdoors. And here I am right now. I'm right down here. It's a little after 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I am doing the bushcraft video. Just wanted to let y'all know a little bit about Rick Brown and tell y'all to have a good day, a better tomorrow,